There we go. Ay, ay, ay. All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy almost May Day. And my thought for you that I've been working with this week is in response to a lot of conversations that I've had, because, you know, as people, we have conversations, but as yoga teachers, we have a lot of conversations with people about what's going on with life. And what's coming up a lot, or I find coming up increasingly, are especially those people who have been on their spiritual path for a long time, or who have been in their doing their inner work for a long time, is we're getting increasingly hard on ourselves. And it's an interesting moment to notice that when you get into that mode of thinking of yourself as the spiritual person, as the yogi, as the whatever you label yourself as in terms of that work, is as soon as we do that, we start to kind of interpret everything that we do through this harsh lens of never being allowed to make a mistake, right? Never being allowed to have a bad day, never being allowed to have a moment where something we said was not skillful, or something that we did caused someone to have a reaction, or something didn't go the way that we planned, even though we did everything right, or we tried to do everything right. And what happens from that, right, is that that harshness that we kind of carry around of never being allowed to have the bad day, or never being allowed to really feel what we feel, is that that gets in the way completely of what the end result or the goal of a spiritual practice is, right? So the spiritual practice, especially in the yogic perspective, just means that you're paying attention, right? It means that you're not running with this autopilot in your mind that says, well, I just do what I do because that's always what I've done, and it doesn't matter to me the effect that it has, right? Because what matters is me. So the practice is that we start to see things or feel things in a much more interconnected way. And because of that, we start to change our behavior, right? Or we start to change the way that we act. That still doesn't mean that on your spiritual path, as much as you think you know, or as deeply as you think that you practice, it doesn't mean you're not going to have the day where you have no patience. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have the day where you blow up at somebody, or where you say something and then immediately think to yourself, "Ooh, I shouldn't have said that," right? Or what I was joking about on Wednesday, because everybody before class was telling me that they needed to go break things. We have to have that too, that feeling that there is this unresolvable emotion in us that we can't just wish away. We can't meditate it away, right? Not the way that we assume that we can, right? We can't meditate away the things that are uncomfortable to us. So our practice is remembering that the things that we do are not to try and make us behave well, right? A spiritual practice is not about your behavior. It's about your understanding. And if you're doing what you're doing to really find out, to really reveal the essence of who and what you are, and respect it as who and what you are for what it is, then those moments that seem like, I don't know what to do with this, it's going to become an explosion, it's going to become this, it's going to become that, that becomes easier, because we are better at saying, this is not wrong what's happening, but I can understand it in a way that is maybe more conscious than someone who's not even looking at it, right? That's the difference between a yogi's mind and somebody else's. And that the yogi looks at that rising, I got to break something, and says, instead of just throwing that around in the world, how about I transform it? How about I take that feeling, and yeah, maybe I do go break something, right? Blow off some steam, but I do it in a way that's not going to hurt others, right? I do it in a way that's going to give me an outlet for me to feel even deeper where those feelings are coming from. Because I guarantee if you feel the need to break something, there's something in you that needs to shift, right? There's something in you that needs expression. So that's what we do, right? We become more complete through those moments where we want to break something, or we want to lash out, or we have this unresolvable feeling. We don't meditate it away. We experience it, and it becomes something more, right? So my point is to give yourself a break. With whatever is going on in your life, give yourself a break, because you can practice diligently and you will still be frustrated. You will still be angry. You will still have all of the emotional experience that any human being has. And that's okay. It's not a detriment to your practice. It doesn't mean that you're not doing it right because you still feel those things. And it doesn't mean that you're missing something when you still have a day where you're like, I don't know, everything I did today turned out like shit, right? Normal. So we accept that and say, okay, the part of my mind that doesn't like that feeling, that's what we work with. We get softer around that. You got to give yourself the break, right? If you want your spiritual practice to really be something that you can deeply root yourself in and not have your mind be afraid of, you got to give yourself a break. So comfortable seat if you're not there already. Let the eyes close for a moment. I feel like that comes with one of those, social media things. I don't know who needs to hear this today, but the truth is we all need to hear it every day. Because every day we get up and think I'm supposed to be this person. And then life happens. And parts of ourselves that we don't like to look at or don't remember to look at come up. We think, who is that? And there is only one goal, one true goal of this practice, and that is to know yourself. So with each breath, right at this moment, can you settle into your seat and can you just start to let the feeling of restriction inside start to ease? And the subtle question is, who is this that is breathing? Who is this that is experiencing this body, even if it's painful? Can you go towards that sensation and say, who is this that feels this pain? Who is this that wrestles with this confusion? And then relax around the fact that you have no idea who this is who breathes. You have no idea who it is that feels this pain. Your mind can't grasp it, not yet. The deeper parts of you have always known, will always know. And so we let the sensation guide us to those deeper places. But for today, and do this every morning, for today, you give yourself a break. Take one more full deep breath in. As you exhale, bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. And we'll open sound of Om, deep breath. And let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands, please. And then just hands to knees or thighs. Start to circle your torso, just nice little circles. So wake up the spine a little bit. I feel like there could be a whole thing about the conversations that yoga teachers have with each other about how much we screw up and how much we know it. Let yourself move the other direction, please. And realizing that your practice is not about figuring out how to not screw up. Your practice is what you do when you figure out that you have screwed up. When you have taken the wrong step, said the wrong word, when you have lashed out. That's when your practice really matters. You can try and prevent all you want, but life moves the way life moves. And bring yourself slowly back to center, please. Inhale the arms up alongside your ears. Interlace your fingers, press the heels of the hands towards the sky, pull up through your side waist. And then as you exhale, round the ribs, press your hands straight out from your chest. So just bring everything forward, 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 curl in. Good. And then inhale, slowly come all the way back up, reaching through your side waist. Then exhale again, taking the arms forward, rounding into the back, pressing back, pressing back, pressing back. And then coming all the way back up, inhaling, lengthening, getting super tall. And then exhaling, curling one more time, pressing the arms straight out from the chest. Good. And then slowly come all the way back up, releasing the arms out and down. Go ahead and find your way coming onto your backs. Doesn't matter which way your head faces. Onto your backs. Good. And then plant your feet for a moment, bend your bent knees, plant your feet. Make sure your feet have a little space between them, so our hips width apart. Good. Then just for a moment, let yourself really sink into the floor. So you actually have that sensation of dropping your middle rib cage, your lower rib cage down and in. And letting the weight of the sacrum get really heavy. So for a second, stop anticipating what you're going to have to do next and just let your body really rest. Feel as though the thigh bones are drawing deep into the hip socket. Feel your breath as it moves, and not just into your belly, but into the back body, so you can feel your back ribs pressing into the floor. Good. And then just very gently here, start to do little pelvic tilt. So keep your feet on the ground and just tilt your pelvis forward and back. Good. Yeah, butt stays fully on the ground. You're just moving the pelvis forward and back, tilting, tipping, both directions. And again, move slow. So if there is crankiness in the lower back, as you're not trying to aggressively move that away, as you're just giving the opportunity for those muscles that are stuck in the position that they're stuck in to warm up so that they can move. This is often our challenge, and people come in and they say, oh, it's because I don't stretch. Well, true, right? Our body gets out of whack because we don't stretch after doing a lot of things that we do. But then we think that stretching is what's going to fix it later. When once we've gotten into that really stuck postural position, or that stuck structural thing, is what you have to do is actually get warm. You got to move a little bit. Come back to a neutral pelvis as close as you can figure out. Good. Again, pressing down through the middle ribs. You keep the abdominals nice and engaged. Just come up on your tippy toes. Yep. So the knees are still bent. Just come up on your tippy toes. And then again, feel that sensation of pulling your thigh bones down into the hip socket. Yeah. And now lift just your right toes up off the floor to 90 degrees. Good. Yep. And then place them down. And then take your left toes up just to 90 degrees and place them down. Right toes up and place them down. Left toes up. Notice if you're clenching in your shoulders, your jaw, your neck, place the toes down. Right toes up. Bring them down. Notice if your back is arching more. Left toes up. Good. And then go ahead and lift both feet. So you're bringing the knees to that 90-degree angle. So the knees are still bent, shins parallel to the floor. Good. So a little higher in, Lisa, towards your belly. There you go. Nice, you guys. And then keep the left foot where it is. Let your right toes come down to touch the floor. Just touch like you're dipping your toes into a puddle. And then lift them back up. And then take the left toes forward and down just to touch the floor and lift them back up. Again, you want to keep this really still through the upper body. Right toes down and back up. Left toes forward and down and back up. Right toes again and back up. Left toes and back up. Good. Pause. Stretch the legs straight up towards the sky now. Yep. Keeping your low back rooted down to the floor. Press your heels together so inner thighs can come together as well. And then start to draw little spirals with your feet. So it's like you're doing, I don't know, I think of those spirograph things. But let it be really from the lower body. So keep your shoulders really still. Keep your rib cage rooted down. You're just drawing little spirals with your feet. So you want those lower abdominals to really feel like something going on. Good. Move your spirals in the other direction. If you feel nothing, take your circle slightly bigger, But the point is not to have big circles. The point is to develop an awareness of those lower abdominals being what's moving your legs. So don't swing your legs. I know. Beautiful. And then come back to stillness, please. Draw the knees in towards your chest. Take your knees just a little bit wide towards your shoulders. So it's like you're in an inverted child's pose. Good. And as you hug your shins, press your shins back against your hands. Press down through your lower back. Good. So you're pushing the legs out, but then engage the belly and press your sacrum down. Good. So again, creating a little bit more space in the lower spine. Excellent. Nice, you guys. And then keep the right knee hugged in, extend the left leg out, hovering over the floor. Good. And then on an exhale, lift up head, neck, and chest. Bring your forehead towards that right knee. Beautiful. And then release the shoulders down. Bring your left knee in towards your chest. Extend the right leg out. So find that squeeze first. Keep rooting down through your lower rib cage. And then on your exhale, lift head, neck, and chest, bringing your forehead towards that knee. Good. And then release the shoulders, right knee in, extend the left leg out. Good. Keep the low back rooting down. As you exhale, curl, really feel the back rib cage pressing down to the floor. Nice. And then release, bring the right knee in, extend the left leg out. Good. And then again, on an exhale, curl in and up. But as you curl up, you want to feel that middle back reaching for the floor. Don't let it stay arched. And then release one more time each side, right knee in, extend the left leg out. Good. As you exhale, curl, bring yourself up into that crunch position. And then slowly release, left knee in, right leg extends. Good. On an exhale, lift your shoulders all the way in and up. Again, pressing through the lower back, middle back. Good. And then release, please, drawing both knees in towards your chest. Nice job. Come into happy baby. Draw your knees wide. Reach for your ankles or your feet. Good. Lower back stuff. When there is a feeling of instability, it's always good to work with the abdominals first. The abdominals will balance the muscles that are stressed out in the back. Good. Nice, you guys. Take your right ankle on top of your left knee, please. Good. Reach through to hold that left thigh if you'd like, or just let the legs stay where they are and let the arms relax. Keep both feet flexed. Good. Even here, as you're pulling that left leg in, if you're holding the thigh, if you're not holding it, you're still energetically pulling that thigh in. Feel yourself scooping into that low belly and pressing down through your sacrum. So it's like you're trying to get the lowest part of your tail to touch the floor and then folding through that front of the thigh crease to pull the legs in towards the belly. Nice. Good. Release your hold on the thigh. Slide your right leg all the way on top of the left. So still same leg on top. You're just bringing the knee on top of knee. Gomukhasana leg. Separate your feet. Reach for your ankles or your shins. Nice. Same thing. Try and bring the lowest part of your tail down towards the floor and then scoop into your low belly to start to draw your knees in towards your belly or up towards your chest. Good. So strange to think, right, that you can actually change where the angle of your knee is just from your abdominal muscles. And that's where we forget that your abdominals, the deep abdominals, are involved with how you move your legs, or at least they should be. Good. Unwind the legs, please. Bring your left ankle on top of the right knee. Reach through to hold your right thigh if you'd like. Right shin should be parallel to the floor. And again, if you're not holding the thigh, arms can just be alongside you. Either way, though, try to find where you are drawing down, pressing down through the lowest part of your tail. So that's going to bring the top of your thigh away from your belly. And that might feel like that's counterproductive because aren't you supposed to be getting your legs closer in? And no, you're supposed to be finding the greatest length on your spine. Your legs are going to do what they're going to do. So find as much length on your spine, root down through that low space of the tail, and then you can use the hands or the arms or your belly to start to draw the legs closer in. It matters that you do both. Good. And this is, again, that perspective that it matters that you do everything in your life, that you acknowledge every part of your being as part of that spiritual practice. That it doesn't mean that I'm practicing so that I'm never angry. It means that you practice so that when you're angry, your anger is useful, or that your anger is not destructive. And being non-destructive doesn't mean that you can't ever want to have expression of that anger. right? In Buddhism, it's called skillful means. It means that whatever you do, you are looking for, how can I do this in the most uplifting way that is possible? And sometimes anger can be that. Release the thigh if you're holding it. Slide that left leg all the way on top of the right, knee on top of knee. Separate your feet, reach for your ankles or shins. You could be holding the feet as well, but not many people do that and keep their shoulders anchored to the floor. So if you find your shoulders curling up and you're holding your feet, hold something else and let your shoulders relax. Nice. Keep your feet flexed. There you go, Stacy. Good, you guys. Again, try and find that lowest part of your tail. Awesome. Skillful means we are trying to live this life with an awareness of how our interactions affect other beings. That doesn't mean you are responsible for every other being's state of mind or state of experience. Right? We get into that as yogis too, is that, oh, I can't do this because I don't ever want to be the one that makes someone uncomfortable, makes them angry, makes them upset. Their upsetness is not your responsibility. Unwind your legs, please. Place your feet flat on the floor, hips width apart. Set your arms alongside you, elbows bent, robot arms, fingers pointing up, and then root down through the upper arms, press slightly wide so you get that feeling of your armpits or around your shoulder blades engaging. And then pressing down into your feet, draw into that low belly, lift your hips up off the floor, come into bridge, and really press down through your heels. So focus on the legs. Good. Press through your heels, press through the mounds of the toes, the balls of the feet, and drag back on your heels. So it should feel like you're actually trying to pull your knees towards the tips of your toes. Good. And then once you've done that, now lift your sternum straight up towards the sky. Yeah. Beautiful. And then slowly release the hips back down to the floor. Nice job. Draw the knees in towards the chest. Good. Roll on your spine forward and back. Or just roll to the side if this is not working. And then bring yourself all the way up to sit. And yeah, if rolling on your spine and coming up to sit does not work for you, roll to the side, bring yourself up to sit. Don't complain about it.
I'm not complaining.
Good. Roll forward onto hands and knees. Onto hands and knees, please. Extend your right leg up and back behind you in line with your hip. Walk the left arm forward. Take a balance. Good. Nice, you guys. Draw up through that low rib cage. Lift through the back of your throat. Really good. Take one more breath, really extend. Good, and then drop the left hand back down to the floor. Take your right toes to the floor, and then drop the right heel, leg is still straight. Take the right arm up to the sky, open twist. Press through that left shin, draw your rib cage back and in. Good. So a deep breath in. And then just one time as you exhale, bring that right arm around in front of you, wrap it in front of your chest underneath your left armpit. So reach around underneath you, curl. You got it. Nice. And then unwind, stretching that right arm back up towards the sky without pushing your pelvis forward, right? Keep that feeling of wideness in your middle back. Good. And then go ahead and lean onto that left hand, float the right leg up parallel to the floor. Good. Very optional here. Bend the right knee, keep your heel and reach back to the foot or the ankle. Good. Remembering not to push your ribs out when you do that, but to keep drawing your ribs in. Nice. Really good, you guys. And then start to extend that leg all the way back. Stretch the arm up alongside the ear or up towards the sky. Good. And then release that foot down to the floor. Come back to hands and knees. Good. Move to the second side. Take your left leg up and back behind you. Take the right arm forward in front of you, balance. Make sure those left toes are really turning down. So again, you can lift up through your middle ribs. You also have to lift up that low part of your belly to keep your hip point up off of your thigh. Don't collapse. Good. And then keep extending, right? Nice. This is the pose. We think, oh, now I'm supposed to reach back for the foot or the ankle. No, you're not. You're supposed to be here. And if is your arm and your leg level with each other? And are they really as high as they can go? And are you really pulling up through your ribs? And are you still breathing? Yeah, it's harder to just stay here. Good. Release that right hand down to the floor. Drop that left foot to the floor and then take the heel flat. Take your left arm up to the sky. Good. I mean, you know me, I love a practice where you're doing everything fancy and fun and wild. But when we really need to get in touch with ourselves, it's a practice that is a little bit more basic, is really helpful. On an exhale, reach that arm around in front of you, in front of the belly, reach it underneath that right armpit. So you're curling in through your shoulders, but keeping your back heel flat. Yeah. And then stretch that arm all the way back up towards the sky. Nice. And then lean your weight forward onto that right hand. Let your left leg come up parallel to the floor. Again, low belly draws in here. Keep your ribs drawing back and in. Reach back for the foot or the ankle here if you'd like. Nice, Andy. Good, Janelle. Got it, Laura. Excellent, you guys. Good. Keep pressing through that right shin. Nice. And then extend the leg, please. Stretch the arm back up towards the sky. And then release that left leg down to the floor, left hand down to the floor. Come back to hands and knees. Do a little gentle hip circling. So again, just move everything. Nice. Move the other direction. Giving yourself a break. When we do yoga therapeutically, it means that we're not practicing to get somewhere in the practice. We're practicing for what does your body need to come back to balance or to come back to a state where it can live your regular life without pain. That's what practice is, right? Is to live your regular life knowing that whatever pain is there, you can do something with it. You don't stop living because of it. Come back to stillness, please. Slide your right knee forward, straight forward in front of you. So straight forward between the hands, slide it forward. And then take your left leg back as though you're coming into a pretend squared off pigeon. So you're not turning the shin, you're just letting that right knee come forward, dropping your hips down, stretching that left leg back. Really nice. And then up on your fingertips, so stay upright. Press down to that right shin. Take the chest nice and open, press into that shin as though you're going to push the floor away, but then let your hips drop. Yeah, so you have a really active front leg. Awesome. And then keep those hands planted, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, scoop into your belly, step yourself back to downward facing dog. Good. Nice, you guys. Come up on the balls of your feet, scoop into your belly again, really pull the hips up, 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 up. And then slide yourself forward to plank pose. Armpits come over your wrist. Keep that sensation of the belly drawing in and up. Nice. And then lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need. Beautiful. Point the toes back behind you. Rise up cobra. Lift up head, neck, and chest, pressing down through the feet. Good. And then exhale, release, please. Press yourself back up to hands and knees. Nice. Take your left knee straight forward in front of you. Good. And again, taking the hips back, sliding that right leg back, dropping the hips towards that right heel. Keep pressing down into the left shin. So the more you press down into the shin, you really activate that leg. It's going to help keep the pressure, first of all, off of the knee, but it's also going to start to wake up all of those muscles around the hip and up into the pelvis. Stay up on your fingertips, get as tall as you can, like an upright pigeon. Good. Yeah. Lifting the low belly up off of that front thigh, but sending your right hip spinning forward. Yeah. Nice. And for someone who's very flexible, this might not feel like much is going on at all, but really pay attention to that press to the left shin. Because for someone who's got lower back or hip flexor stuff, this is something. Good. And then slowly release, please. Tuck your back toes, plant your hands, lift that back knee, and then step back to downward facing dog. Good. And that's the essence of compassion right there, right? Is that an experience that you are having in one way has nothing to do with the way someone else is experiencing their moment. So as yogis, we remember that our experience is not the only experience that there is. So we get a little softer when someone is reacting in a way that we can't understand. Slide yourself forward to plank pose. Good. Lower down slow. Again, coming through knees first if you need. And that can always look like just coming down to hands and knees. If coming all the way to the floor doesn't feel like a good idea. Rise up cobra, lift head, neck, and chest. Again, really pressing down through the tops of the feet. Nice. And then exhale, release, please. Come back to downward facing dog. Again, that transition might look like coming back to hands and knees first and then lifting the hips. Good. Excellent, you guys. Take the right foot forward in front of you between the hands. Step your left foot a little wider to the left. Drop the heel to 45 degrees. Warrior one. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. The secret that isn't a secret for working with your lower back is to do every pose you can that has your pelvis parallel. Don't do a lot of rotation because your back is already aggravated by that, right? Take your arms overhead, turn your palms forward, hook your thumbs. And then bend your elbows a little wider as you pull the thumbs apart. Draw that low rib cage back and in, draw your throat back. Nice. And now start to stretch the arms towards straight. Keep pulling on the thumbs. Good. So you're reaching up through the arms, but drawing down through the shoulder blades. Beautiful. Nice leg. Excellent, you guys. One more breath. Heart goes towards the sky. Beautiful. And then release the hands and then take your torso forward parallel to the floor. Good. Keep your torso where it is. Stretch your arms reaching back towards the back of your mat, like you're going to clasp your hands, but then don't clasp your hands. Just squeeze the hands towards each other like you've got a big block between them. So turn the palms to face each other and squeeze. Now lift your arm bones, roll them up and back. Yeah. And squeeze the forearms again. Lift those hands slightly higher. That's it. Good. Front knee still over the front ankle, right? Of course it is. Good. And then release the hands down to the floor. Please spin your back heel up. Drop that back knee. You got it. And then inhale the arms to the sky. Anjaneyasana. You can use a blanket underneath that back knee if you need. Press through your front heel a lot. Yeah. You press through the front heel, you get a little bit more activation on the back of the thigh. Beautiful, you guys. Good. One more breath. Heart goes high. Drop the head back. Nice. And then release the hands all the way down towards the floor. You got it. Lift that back knee, please. Step your left foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight. Uttanasana. Use blocks underneath the hands if you'd like. A lovely conversation with someone just the other day who said that they had this very unexpected argument, we'll call it, with the person who cleans their house. And it ended up, ending that relationship that they had together, that business relationship. And she felt so bad about it. And the remembrance is that, and what I said to her is, sometimes when energy between two people needs to break, someone has to break it. When energy needs to shift, it needs to shift. And it doesn't always do it in the soft, gentle way that we would hope, because we're not always willing to do that. We have resistance to it. We don't know how to say what we want to say. We don't know how to do what we don't know how to free ourselves, right? How easy is it for you in your life to say no when you have to say no? Sometimes not easy at all. So again, the beauty of this experience of being human is that things will happen sometimes unexpectedly, not the way that you would have planned it, but that when it does happen, we have those moments. Is don't carry it around as though you're a terrible person. You had a moment. And if the energy between you and someone else had to break, well, hallelujah, there's freedom there. Try not to do it that way again next time. Right? What's the lesson? Is say no when you have to say no. Say goodbye when you have to say goodbye. Take one more breath, press into your feet. Good, and then bend that right knee. Please step your left foot forward alongside the left, standing forward fold. Good. Bend your knees, please. Take your hands up onto your thighs. So bend your knees, drop your hips low like you're in chair. And then bring your hands up onto your thighs and cat-cow your spine. Good. And again, I want you to feel the whole capability of your spine to arch and curl here. So don't just focus on the lower back. Can you feel the opening through the armpits, through the shoulders? And the places that are a little owie, a little painful, can you go to that sensation and try to find where you can find the place where there is a opening, but not a yanking. because we have to move into the places that are sticky or stuck or sore. But again, the point is not to go to your maximum ability to stretch. That's not what helps. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Knees still bent, hips drop. Take your arms up alongside your ears. Chair pose. Got it. Come up on your tippy toes if you can. So lifting your heels, still in chair. Yeah, I know. And take your butt back more. So that's the fun, right? Is that on your tippy toes is you can actually fold a little deeper because your legs are more activated. That's it. Good. Let your heels press down towards the floor. Please come all the way up to stand. Ay, ay, ay. Right hand holds your left wrist. Lean to your right. Good. Pressing down to that left heel a lot. Nice. And now still leaning towards the right, curl into your spine. Take your hands towards that upper right hand corner of the mat. Good. So you get a little bit of that twist towards the front of the mat. Left shoulder moves forward just slightly. Good. And then with that roundness in your ribs, keep the tops of your thighs back. Start to open the left armpit again, reaching all the way wide to the right. And then come all the way back up to center. Switch your hands. Left hand reaches for right wrist. Lean to your left. Good. Pressing down through the right heel, keeping the navel drawn in, the ribs drawn in, tops of the thighs back. Don't clench your butt here. Good. And now change the angle so you curl towards that upper left-hand corner of your mat. Get really round through your middle ribs. Let the tops of the thighs go back. Nice. Excellent. Now take that right armpit open again, still leaning. Keep that fullness in your back ribs. And then come all the way back up to center, please. Nice job. Release your hands. Exhale, bow forward. Take your hands down towards the floor of your blocks. Good. Then step the right leg back behind you. Step that foot a little wider to the right. Drop the heel to 45 degrees. Come into warrior one, second side. Good. Turning the hips to face straight ahead as much as you can. So that left hip has to lift up and wide, right hip has to spin forward. And then it's going to feel like your ribs are twisted slightly to the left. Good. Nice, you guys. And then go ahead and turn the palms forward again. Hook your thumbs. And as you bend the elbows wide, draw the armpits wide. So the elbows actually move back in space. Good. Lift the back of your throat. And then start to stretch the arms back towards straight. So pulling up through the side waist, but then drawing down through your shoulder blades. Nice. Yeah, so the sternum lifts with those shoulder blades, draw down towards the hips. You got it. Pull, pull, pull on those thumbs. Good. Front knees over the front ankle. Yes. There you go. Good, you guys. And then release the hands. Take your torso forward, parallel to the floor. Reach out. Good. Keep weight in that back foot. That's it. And now reach your arms back behind you as though you were going to interlace your fingers, but don't. Turn the palms towards each other and squeeze. Good. Keep turning your right rib cage forward and down towards the floor. Keep lifting your left hip up and wide to the left. That's it. Lift your arm bones, roll them up and back. Yeah. Lift your hands a little higher and squeeze your forearms. This is all the usefulness of that stretch of interlacing your fingers, but without the restriction, right? Good. And then release the hands down to the floor. Nice job. Spin your back heel up. Drop that right knee. Use a blanket if you'd like. Take the arms up to Anjaneyasana. And again, arms up might be actually hands on block. So again, you're paying attention to what works here. Press through the front heel. Good. Letting the pelvis move forward. Take your heart towards the sky. Let your head fall back. Let your armpits fall back. Keep the legs super engaged. Good. Yeah, I know. What happens when you just hold Anjaneyasana? Good. Do you start sinking or do you get lighter? Do you get tired or do you get empowered? Do you even know why you're doing this pose? No idea. Who is this who's doing this pose? Because I told you to, exactly. And then slowly release, come all the way back up, release the hands. Good, lift your back knee. That is the best answer. Right foot steps forward. Just a little bit. Take both legs to straight Parsvottanasana. It's the truth. is the truth. But that is the benefit of really paying attention to how your practice integrates into the rest of your life. Because it is sort of hilarious that, you know, we go to our teachers and we say, I'm struggling with this, what do I do? And we're like, well, the same thing we do all the time, like alternate nostril breathing. Do your down dog. What are you doing? Our answer is nothing, right? We do nothing until we're in that moment of crisis. And then we wonder, what should we do? Well, what have you been doing with your practice this whole time? Just what you told me to do. So to integrate this practice into your way of thinking, into your way of acting, that it's not something that you do just in crisis, but you do it as a way to interact well in the world. So sometimes the solution to your anger is breath of fire, helps move it. Or maybe it's alternate nostril breathing. Sometimes it is do a couple of quick rounds of sun salute, move that energy so that you can feel it, see it as something more than just the need to react. But that's your practice, right? Is to every day say, am I taking care of this experience? Am I paying attention to it? Or am I trying to make myself behave? Right? Behavior is not the point of spiritual practice. It's a side effect, maybe a beneficial side effect. It is not the point. Take one more breath, pressing into your feet. Good. And then bend that left knee, step the right foot all the way forward, top of the mat. Take both legs to straight. Bend your knees a lot, feet a little bit separated. And then inhale your arms up alongside your ears, come into chair. You got it. Nice, you guys. Feel as though you're really pressing into those heels. You're widening your inner thighs, but hugging your knees. Yeah. Long throat. Good. One more breath. Send your butt back. Drop your chest a little lower. So almost parallel to the floor. Nice. And then release the hands to the floor. Please straighten the legs and back. Did you feel that? I did. Separate your feet as wide as your mat. That's a blessing, right? When you know your low back has cranky stuff going on and you actually feel it adjust. Hallelujah. Good. Right hand plants directly in front of you. Take your left arm to the sky or left hand to your lower back. Spinal twist. Good. Your hand is at your lower back. Press your lower back up into your hand. So again, you're engaging from the front of the belly. Nice. And then go ahead and release, please. Left hand comes down to the floor. Right hand comes up to the sky or to your lower back. And nice to push down into that hand that's on the floor as well. So push down to decompress that left shoulder. Nice. Good. Throat back. Might just be the angle, but throat back to know. There you go. Yep. Excellent, you guys. And then go ahead and release that right hand down to the floor, please. Good. Turn your feet wide, 45 degrees both feet. And then keeping your hands on the ground, start to bend your knees and drop your hips towards a squat. But keep your hands on the floor. Good. And then just when you just about get there, scoop into your low belly and take your legs back up to straight. Yep. Good. And then do it again. Hands on the floor, start to bend your knees towards that squat. Keep curling into your spine as much as you can, dropping your tail. And then start to straighten your legs again. Take your hips all the way back up towards the sky. So the point is that I don't want you to collapse your weight into your squat. I want you to really consider muscularly what you're doing. Bend your knees again, dropping your hips down towards that squat, widening your knees, squeezing your feet, curling into your low belly, and then straighten your legs again. I promise only 2 more of these. Bend your knees, dropping towards that squat, curling. You like it, right? Yeah. And then start to take your legs back up to straight. Good. You can notice which hip kind of moves faster than the other one. Last time, bend your knees and scoop. Good. Dropping your hips, dropping your hips, dropping your hips. Keep that curl. Start to straighten your legs. You got it. And then go ahead and bend your knees, come all the way down into your squat. Do it with the same awareness that you just did. But let yourself find where, okay, here's where I rest. Here's where I settle. But most of us, our challenge is we push ourselves into squat and then we arch our lower backs and we get totally compressed in our hip creases. And then we curl into our upper back and we just struggle to stay where we are. So don't struggle to be in a position. Find the way that the position actually works with you. Good. Nice, you guys. Lift that sternum just a little higher. Keep curling into that low belly. Drop your tail. Excellent. And then release the hands to the floor, please. Take your butt down to the floor gracefully. Take your feet forward in front of you. Knees bent. And then fingertips come back behind you. Come up on the tippy toes of your feet. Good. Again, curling into your low belly. Lift your shins up off the floor. This should feel sort of familiar. Boat pose. So it's a little more challenging here than on your back. So you still have to have that feeling of drawing the thigh bones down and in, lifting through your spine. Good. And again, this might be where you stay, or stretch the arms straight out. Come into the next stage of boat. Good. Nice, you guys. Now straighten just your right leg. Keep the left knee bent. Good. Now bend the right knee, extend the left leg. Bend the left knee, extend the right leg. Keep your hands behind you if you need. And then switch. Good. And then switch. And then switch. And then switch. And then both legs up, go. Straight. Both legs, go. Low belly in and up. Nice, Stacy. You got it, Lynn. Nice, Victoria. You got it, you got it, you got it. Yeah. And then release the feet to the floor, please. Excellent. Let the bottoms of the feet come together. Let your knees drop wide. Baddha Konasana. Wait. Good. Use a blanket underneath your seat if you need, and then go ahead and walk yourself forward. Hands extended in front of you for today. So again, if you like holding your feet, that's okay, but walk your hands forward. Because I want you to have something solid to press your hands into. When we hold our feet, sometimes we just get really hunched in the shoulders. So walk your arms forward. Good. And then up on your fingertips. Good. So it can be if you have your hands flat, that'll work, but up on fingertips so you can really push down. And as you push down into your hands, bend your elbows slightly and drag backwards. So an isometric drag, right? So you're pulling the arm bones up into the chest, lift the back of your throat, and extend your sternum forward as you pull the hands back. Good. So you don't want the ribs to push forward, but you want that low part of the sacrum to just lift a little bit. Yeah, I can. That's okay. I don't want you to go for it. I just want you to feel this. Yeah. Nice, you guys. Good. And then walk yourself all the way back in, please. And stretch your right leg straight out in front of you. Left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Let your knee go wide. And take the arms up alongside your ears. Good little twist to your right. So you're just turning, same as you did in Warrior One, and then bow forward, reaching over that extended leg. And again, the idea here is, especially if the low back is cranky, is not to try and get low, but to really work the pelvic bones to be in line with each other. And to get that feeling of just reaching from the top edge of your sacrum. Nice. Giving yourself a break. To erase from your mind the idea that if you have a bad day or things happen, it doesn't mean that you're failing at your spiritual path. It doesn't mean that you're not a real yogi. If you knew what went on in my head day after day, good thing that you don't, it's only in my head. You would say, oh, and you're a yoga teacher? No. Human being. Don't stress too much about what goes on in your head or what your behavior is and if it's perfect. Give yourself a break. What matters is that whatever does happen, whatever does occur, is that you continue to pay attention to it. And to let it guide you to more completely understand who you are. Walk yourself all the way back up, please. Good, press into that left shin. Left hand comes back behind you, back behind your left hip. Press into that left shin, lift your hips up off the floor. Take your right arm up over the ear. Good. Again, this doesn't feel good. Nice, you guys. Right baby toe presses down to the floor. Armpit comes back. Good. And then release all the way back to your seat, please. Nice job. Switch the legs. Take your left leg forward in front of you. Bend the right knee, bottom of the foot to the inside of your left leg. Good. Stretch the arms up alongside your ears. Give a little twist towards the left. Then bow forward. Keep that left foot awake, please. You're keeping your heel rooted down to the floor. I think it was very funny that I was telling you my daughter had her moment yesterday morning about us not having waffles, and that's all she wanted. So later my mom came over and the first thing out of my daughter's mouth is, Gaga, I had a rough morning. And of course my mom says, oh, you did? What happened? What was so rough? And she said, I really wanted waffles and Mama didn't have any. And so I cried a lot. But this is what I hope that we all do, right? Because this is the thing, is someone walks in and you've had a rough day and they say, how are you? And you say, great, perfect, everything's great. When inside we're like, no, I didn't get anything that I wanted. I'm having a terrible morning. I'm really upset. I don't want to be nice to you. We don't have to say all of those things, but we can be a little bit gentler with how much we hold that back. Even to ourselves, we can say, yeah, I'm having a rough day. I'm not going to expect so much from myself. I'm going to let myself be a little quieter, or, be nice, but not excessively nice. I'm not going to go out of my way. I'm just going to give myself the time and the space to feel what I feel. And great if you can say, I've had a rough day. Walk yourself all the way back in, please. Take your right hand back behind your right hip. Press up onto that right shin. Lift your hips up off the floor. Left arm comes up over the ear. Nice, you guys. And then slowly release, coming all the way back down to your seat. Beautiful. And then go ahead and stretch the legs straight out, give them a little shake. Good. And I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to go upside down if you would like to, those of you who would like to. So an inversion of your choice. And again, an inversion today might look like legs up the wall, or it might look like your butt resting on a block and supported bridge or shoulders down. But take your time, go upside down in some manner. If you have a wall and you want to do headstand, handstand, forearm balance, any of that, go for it. Nice, guys. Let your inversion be a point where you start to find steadiness again. My joke for myself is that handstand for me fixes everything. I'm having a bad day, handstand. Having a tired day, handstand. I don't want to talk to anyone, handstand. The process of inverting gives us a chance to get steady inside. So whatever your inversion is, especially if it's legs up the wall, just don't tune out. Let it be a chance for you to get steady inside. We question over and over again if we are doing this practice right, if we're doing this life right. We can judge it based off of the things that happen, right? The results. We can say, oh, well, if I'm not getting the results that I want, I must be doing something wrong. The spiritual practice, especially a yogic practice, has nothing to do with the results. It's written right into the teachings. It says you don't get to decide how things progress. You can only be aware of who you are and what your action is. Whatever happens after that is not up to you. That's up to that energy that organizes our interconnectedness. Some of the great sages were known to be very cranky individuals because the point is not to never have emotions in your practice, but to know that whatever you do, experience, is able to create movement in that interconnected whole. So sometimes an argument can be healing. Sometimes a breakup is the best thing that ever happens to you. Sometimes saying the things that you wish you hadn't said leads to the apology that makes you better friends. Trauma teaches us how to heal. Pain teaches us how to find compassion. So we turn nothing away, but we also don't assume that the way things are unfolding means that what we're doing is right or wrong. We just stay with it. That's the practice. We get up every day and say, can I understand myself even a little bit better? Your last couple of breaths and you're upside down. And as you're ready, slowly begin to release, coming down from your headstand, handstand. If you're there, rolling down the spine one vertebra at a time. If you're in shoulder stand, if you're in legs up the wall, stay for another breath. Then if you are in legs up the wall, just for a moment, bend your knees, start to walk your heels down towards your butt. So it's like you're bringing your knees in towards your chest, but your feet are still on the wall. Keep your butt pressing towards the wall and down towards the floor, and then just press into your feet. Yeah. Press into your feet and then press your butt down towards the floor. Good, you can walk your feet down even more, Victoria. There you go, even further, as far down as they can go. That's it. Nice. Good, and then if you are on the wall, bring the knees all the way together. Please roll yourself to either side. The right side is nice, you're all going the same direction. Not that it matters if you're at home. And then slowly bring yourself away from the wall. Good. Come to lie on your back if you're not there already. If you're in the room with me, head space center of the room. If you're at home, wherever you want to be. Good. Draw the knees in towards your chest. Keep the right knee drawn in. Extend your left leg out, again, hovering over the floor. Good. And then hold behind that right thigh. And extend that right leg out to straight any amount. So you're in like sort of a split position, but left leg is hovering off the floor. Deep breath in. As you exhale, curl your shoulders up off the floor like you're going to bring your forehead towards your knee. Again, pressing down and back to that middle spine. Good. And then bend the knee back in towards your chest. Release the shoulders. Nice. And then switch. Draw the left knee in. Extend the right leg out. And again, heel can be on the floor if lifting it does not work for you. Good. Squeeze in, hold behind the thigh, extend the left heel up towards the sky. Good. And then on an exhale, again, curl your shoulders up and in like you're going to bring your forehead towards that left knee. Good. Relax your shoulders. That's it. Get it really just into the middle core. Nice, Stacy. Good. And then slowly release, hugging that knee back in towards your chest. Awesome. Bring both knees in, please. Good. Stack the right thigh on top of the left. Wrap the shins. So your right thigh on top of left, press your shins together. So you're doing eagle pose on your back. Stretch the arms out wide. Left arm comes over top of right in front of your chest. Good. Wrapping the forearms as well. And again, rooting down through that lower rib cage. And feeling that low part of the sacrum still reaching for the floor. Nice. Press out through the top of your head so the back of your throat gets longer. Drop the chin. Yeah. Good, you guys. Deep breath in. And then if you'd like, exhale, bring the elbows and knees towards each other. So curl into the spine, squeeze. Good. And then slowly release, unwind your legs and your arms, switch to the other side. Take the left leg on top of the right, pressing the shins together. Good. Right arm comes on top of left in front of your chest, pressing the forearms. Good. And again, you want that middle rib cage, lower rib cage drawing down. So take that arch out of the back. And then lengthen the back of your throat. Nice, nice, nice. Don't let your hands fall onto your face. Yeah. And then if you'd like here, exhale, bring the elbows and knees towards each other, curl up, squeeze. And then slowly unwind and release the legs, release the arms, hug the knees in towards your chest. Bring your forehead up to meet your knees, squeeze. Good. And then release the shoulders. If you'd like a final spinal twist, go ahead and take it. Whatever way that you'd like. If the lower back is cranky, my suggestion is to keep the knees on top of each other, stacked. Good. If you do not wish for a spinal twist and you're just ready to come into Shavasana, let yourself start to stretch the legs out. Also, my suggestion, if the lower back is a very cranky place, is to maybe take your Shavasana with your knees bent in constructive rest, or to place a blanket or a bolster underneath your knees. And it is common sense, right, that if your body is struggling with something, is take care of it. Doesn't matter that normally you don't need this or you don't want that. For today, do what your body needs you to do. What is this practice? This practice is one for understanding the whole being that we are. So give yourself a break about your behavior. Let yourself get nice and heavy into the floor. Feel the breath and let yourself just wonder, who is this that is breathing? Do I really know this being, this inhaling and exhaling? Or am I actually a little scared to find out? Whatever the experience inside is, just be with that and breathe. Don't try to change it. Just breathe with it without clinging. Very gently bring the awareness back to the breath. Letting the body begin to stretch and move in whatever ways serve it well. And as you're ready, draw the knees in towards your chest, roll to your right side. Take a moment before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. Finding your way all the way back to your seat, bringing your hands together in front of the heart center. When we end class, we always say to acknowledge that inner light within and to acknowledge the inner light in others. And we usually have some sort of lovely image in our head of what that means that has nothing to do with what it means. What it means is to honor every single part of you, because you were created from perfection. You were created as a perfect whole being. And so your anger is part of that. Your sadness is part of that. Everything that you experience, that you feel, is part of that. And so we bow to it. We bow to the knowledge that there is a perfection to this self that we do not understand through our mind. And that's why we practice, so that we can start to understand, so that we can have that self be revealed to us. And life does that for us through arguments and through rough days and through great days and through a lot of fun and through sorrow and suffering. That self is revealed. So our practice is to stay with it so that we see that. We don't tune out because everything feels too hard and we don't know how to behave. So we come to that place where we are now acknowledging in our practice, in our lives, that that inner light within says, no matter what I am feeling, it's not wrong. No matter what I'm experiencing, it's not wrong. And if I know that, then I can move with that experience and I can understand myself, the world, in a bigger way. And I can move whatever that experience is for myself and the others I'm interconnected with towards peace. And that's what it means to be a yogi, is to see the opportunity to move towards peace in everything. There is never a you versus me. It's always just, how are we moving together? But nothing that you feel is wrong. Give yourself a break. You make a mistake in any given day, you have no idea what you may have done that was perfectly right. Your mind just doesn't see it yet. So we stay awake to ourselves and to each other. And we bow to that place inside that we know that we cannot grasp how great and perfect we are. And with compassion, we keep bowing to that every day until we can grasp how great and perfect we are. So dropping the chin towards the chest, the silent namaste, and then bringing the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows, the out loud namaste. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week until I see you again. Just heads up, if you are interested in the retreat with Cheryl and Eileen, make sure you sign up for that and check out, there's lots of options for coming for the whole weekend or just for a day or for kirtan. So if you're like, oh, I can't commit to the whole thing, but you need a little time away, take the opportunity. So take a look at the details for that coming up in May, and we will see you soon. You're welcome, welcome, welcome.